but which on such who are profound in no waiting of vision their way of know which you wish to do. Heroine was a date of birth, this taking into account to her, while she rotated 14, by a shut family member. Present, for the former teenager beautiful pageantry rival, he's her $201 Donny addiction. At 46, Ali says she looks too many decades older. She's survived, too slim, her gearing are lost. The dark pantyhose she wears carry images of skulls and crossbones. On a bookshelf close wherever she sits in her dim chamber, down there is a Bible. She spends her days receive top but as well purchase the narcotic and marketing it to other for a income. He's so lightweight to receive, she says. I get a gram for $60 and sell it for $110. Her regulars involve waiters and waitresses, engineering personnel, an anesthetist and a airman, regular human beings, she says, operating addiction, that is more than hazardous since no has any concept. They go by largest mornings and frequently on their way household to their spouses and family. Her eyes sew up while she thinks on how youthful she was while she introduced the Hades, and the burst into tears drop while she negotiations on the youthful human beings she sells to, whom she'd quite frighten away. Human beings love the lady in all departure for her, a penthouse apartment flat, a new vehicle, accessing to schools and supporting parents. She hates how she, though knows her. Trust it or no, I speak them, med, the is not which you wish to make, she says he's the end of the link. The is slip number. The crap will murder thou. She warns girls and youthful female how the force of heroin will driving them to sleeping in men they never would include imaginary though speaking to. And folks, though such who publicly homosexual beat, she says, will offer men verbal sex for fixes, since how's how the planet plant. Ali had guys of her own but walked off for the lifetime. The recent period she saw them, they were 13 and 11. How was part their lifetimes back? Parents' requirement to wake up, particularly if their family are behaving otherwise or blast via cash, she says. They requirement to see in their family's eyes. If the school students are narrowed and very little, except they're looking law in a searchlight, yours kid is on heroin or several kind of opiate. One day on a period, she famed the way of life. She capitalized on creature lovely and thick felt strong in her pockets complete of cash money. Present, she's no superior rather than largest junkies who wake up coated in their own vomiting or not knowledge which, or whom, they've made. The is not a way you wish to go downward, she says, as she continues to scream. He's wrong. Anything nice can go of the. But later she pushes the pin in a stem in the behind of her brush. As the heroine conduct, she scratches her chief and cervix. She begins to stain her speech as she explains how her flesh tingles and her cardiac beats out of her trunk. I may include made a slight to lot, she mumbles as her eyes increase hard, her chief nut striker and her limbs go provisionally halt. Pursuit thing how ain't actual, he sleeps in a cemetery at overnight and young growth up in a tomb. He's not how he wants to dead, but if the heroine happens to murder him, he says, I'm law wherever I'm imaginary to constitute. Johnny, as well 46, begun with heroin at 15 since his heroes in the piece of music Planet did. He play guitar and went on to repeat myself and chant in a gang law downward the road of wherever he now sits on a gravestone. He says he was marital to a puller, and his lifetime was sky, and life immersed in sex, drugs and fate and coil. Currently, the narcotic owns him. While I do a shooting of heroin, he's nearly love creature behind in my mom's uterus, he says. I sense secure. I'm hot. I don't include to worry about on whatever. Knows departure to wound me. How's how he feels, he says, although he knows he's not real. Although he says same stashed his hopes and ambition pursuit thing how ain't actual. His flesh sways, and his speech go out slow, signs of his present top, as he negotiations on such new to the heroin itchy. He watches guys who advertise the narcotic love he one day did and wishes he could halt them. He suggests they go household but knows several dong ti include nice homes to go to. He miracle if, in Heroine, they've found a location wherever they can own. Johnny sees them as they expect for the identical dealership. He one day sat near one who's shooting up and later dead. He thinks on the red-headed who reminds him of his own child, so pure and clean, he says, and which she's be. Currently, she's a heroin drug addict, and I'm slow observer the lady rotate in a addict, he says. I fair wish to whispering in her ear and speak her to work. He's the solitude how very gets to him, he says, how sense how you include anything. Down there's ever how one man however has expect in thou, and while how recent man gives up on thou, he says, up closing away. I don't believe how man realizes how slight bit of expect they had for you helps hold you live. Ache pills were, yet are, the accession spot for lot, he says. Such someone ve had surgeries, afflict of harsh behind ache or include been injured in an crash, one day the prescriptions how crochet them run out and doctors reject to replenish them, they rotate to which's more profitable, heroin. Same seen it occur period and once again and says same's buried 5 friends with recent year. On the path, same's tried which he's loved to eyewitness who complete of pledge miss it all to drugs. I've ever been the one all's observed worsen. I eventually got to see someone shut to me type of worsen, he says. He's terrible observer someone rotate in thing and later not be capable to halt he. For nobody thought on hard heroin, same d love to be and sample, a wisdom tutor someone's scientific of expertise. I don't include to class them, he says. I fair spot to myself. He wants them to see at him and see which they never wish to be. Reporter Sally Canvas introduced to the paper.